I was 45, living in a quiet townhouse on Birch Avenue, a place where the days felt like they were on repeat. My name is Laura, and I ran a small bakery, filling my life with the scent of fresh bread and the chatter of customers. But beneath the routine, there was a restlessness, a sense that I'd lost something along the way. I'd been divorced for a decade, my kids were grown, and while I wasn't unhappy, I often wondered if this was all there was. It was a chilly October evening, the kind where the leaves crunch underfoot and the air carries a hint of winter. I was scrolling through my phone, sipping tea, when a notification popped up, a message from a name I hadn't seen in 20 years, Sarah Mitchell. My heart skipped a beat. Have you ever gotten a message that stopped you cold? If you have, hit that subscribe button. This story's about to shake things up. Sarah and I had been inseparable in college, to dreamers sharing late-night talks and big plans. But after graduation, life pulled us apart. She moved to the city, I stayed in our small town, and our calls faded to silence. Seeing her name now, after all this time, felt like a ghost stepping out of a memory. Her message was short: Laura, it's been too long. I need to talk. Can we meet? It's important. No emojis, no small talk, just urgency. I stared at the screen, my mind racing. Why now? What could be so important after 20 years? I typed a reply, suggesting coffee at my bakery tomorrow. Her response was instant: I'll be there. Please don't tell anyone. My stomach twisted. If an old friend messaged you like that, would you meet them or run? Keep watching, this gets wild. The next morning, I opened the bakery early, my nerves on edge. The air smelled of cinnamon rolls, but I couldn't focus. When Sarah walked in, I barely recognized her. The vibrant girl I knew was gone, replaced by a woman in her mid-40s, her blonde hair streaked with gray, her blue eyes shadowed with worry. She wore a worn coat, her hands fidgeting. Laura, she said, her voice low, thank you for meeting me. We sat in a corner booth, the bakery quiet before the morning rush. She didn't waste time. I'm in trouble, she said, sliding a small, sealed envelope across the table. If anything happens to me, open this, but not before. I frowned, my hands hovering over the envelope. Sarah, what's going on? Are you okay? She shook her head, her eyes darting to the window. I can't explain now. Just keep it safe. And Laura, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? Before I could press, she stood, pulling her coat tight. I'll contact you soon. Promise me you'll wait. I nodded, stunned, as she slipped out the door, vanishing into the morning fog. The envelope felt heavy, like it held a secret I wasn't ready for. Have you ever been handed something so mysterious you couldn't let it go? Smash that like button if you're as curious as I was. This is about to get insane. I tucked the envelope into my bag, trying to focus on work, but my mind was elsewhere. Sarah's fear, her apology, it didn't add up. That night, I sat on my couch, staring at the envelope. It had no markings, just a plain white surface, but it felt alive, pulsing with questions. I wanted to tear it open, but her words stopped me. If anything happens to me. Was she in danger? I tried messaging her, but her account showed last seen hours ago. A quick search online revealed nothing, no social media, no recent traces. It was like she'd vanished again. The next day, I called my friend Emma, a tech-savvy librarian who loved digging into puzzles. Laura, this sounds sketchy, she said when I told her about Sarah. Let me check something. She ran a background search, finding an old article about Sarah from 10 years ago. She'd been a journalist, exposing corruption in a nearby city. But after a big story, she dropped off the grid. Maybe she's hiding, Emma said. That envelope could be trouble or not. I couldn't let it go. Sarah had come to me for a reason. 2 days later, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from an unknown number. It was Sarah, her voice shaky. Laura, I'm okay, but I can't talk long. Don't open the envelope yet. Meet me at the old warehouse on Pine Street tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Come alone. The message cut off. My heart pounded. Pine Street was in the industrial part of town, a place of empty lots and rusted buildings. Why there? I played the message again, her fear palpable. Against my better judgment, I decided to go. If you got a call like that, would you show up or stay safe? Comment below, this story's about to take a turn you won't believe. The warehouse was a hulking shadow under the moonlight, its windows boarded, graffiti scarring the walls. I parked a block away, my hands trembling as I clutched the envelope. The air was cold, the silence broken only by distant traffic. I slipped inside through a broken door, my flashlight beam dancing across crates and cobwebs. "Sarah," I whispered, my voice echoing. No answer. Then, a rustle in the corner. I spun, my heart in my throat, but it was just a rat. I was about to leave when I saw it, a small, locked box tucked behind a crate, with a note taped to it. "Laura, open me." My hands shook as I tore the note off. The box was metal, heavy, with a padlock. The envelope Sarah gave me felt warm in my pocket, like it knew something. I tore it open, breaking her rule. Inside was a key and a letter. The letter read, "Laura, I'm sorry for dragging you into this." The key opens the box. It holds proof of something I've been running from for 20 years. If I'm not there, take it to the police, but trust no one else. You're the only one I believe in, Sarah. The key fit the lock perfectly. Inside the box were documents, photos, and a USB drive. The top photo showed a group of men in suits. One I recognized, a local politician, now a state senator. My stomach churned. What had Sarah uncovered? I plugged the USB into my phone, my hands clumsy. It contained a video, grainy but clear. Sarah's face appeared, her voice steady but urgent. "If you're watching this, I'm in trouble. 20 years ago, I uncovered a money laundering scheme tied to city name as Elite. They threatened my family, so I ran. But I kept evidence, bank records, emails, names. Laura, you were my best friend, the one person I knew wouldn't give up. Get this to the press. They're still out there." The video ended, and I sat frozen. Sarah had been hiding for 2 decades, and now she'd pulled me into her fight. If you found evidence like this, would you risk it all or walk away? Keep watching, this is about to get wild. I stuffed the box's contents into my bag, my mind racing. As I turned to leave, headlights flashed outside. A black SUV pulled up, and 2 men in dark jackets stepped out, their voices low. "She was here," one said. My blood ran cold. Were they looking for Sarah or me? I ducked behind a crate, my heart pounding, and slipped out a side exit, sprinting to my car. I drove home, locking every door, the documents burning a hole in my bag. Sarah was out there, maybe hurt, and I had her life's work in my hands. The next morning, I called Emma, my voice shaking. "Laura, this is way bigger than us," she said when I told her about the video. She connected me with a journalist friend, Tom, who worked for a national outlet. "If this is real, it's a bombshell," he said, meeting me at a diner. I handed him the USB and documents, keeping the photos in case I needed leverage. "Sarah's in danger," I said. "We have to find her." Tom nodded, but his face was grim. "These people don't play nice. Be careful." That night, my phone rang, an unknown number. I answered, hoping for Sarah, but it was a man's voice, cold and clipped. "You have something that doesn't belong to you. Return it, or your bakery burns." My stomach dropped. They knew where I worked, maybe where I lived. I hung up, my hands trembling, and called Tom. "They're watching me," I said. He urged me to lay low, but I couldn't. Sarah had trusted me. I had to find her. Emma hacked into Sarah's old email, finding a draft message with GPS coordinates, a cabin 50 miles away. She might be there. Emma said. I drove, the photos and a copy of the USB in my bag. The cabin was small, hidden in the woods, its windows dark. I knocked, whispering, "Sarah, it's Laura." The door creaked open, and there she was, pale but alive. "You opened the envelope," she said. Her voice a mix of relief and fear. I nodded, showing her the box's contents. "I gave it to a journalist," I said. "It's over." But it wasn't. Sarah told me the whole story, how she'd exposed the scheme in college, how the men in the photos had ruined her life, forcing her to hide. She'd tracked them for years, gathering evidence, but they'd found her again. "They killed my brother," she said, tears in her eyes. I couldn't let them win. I hugged her, my own tears falling. She wasn't just my friend, she was a hero, fighting a war I'd never seen. If you reunited with someone like this, would you stand by them? Comment below. This story's not over. We drove back to town, staying off main roads. Tom's article hit the next day, naming the senator and his allies. The fallout was swift arrests, protests, headlines. Sarah's evidence was airtight, and the ring collapsed. But the threats didn't stop. My bakery's window was smashed, a note inside. "You'll pay." I was scared, but Sarah and I were done hiding. We worked with Tom, connecting with other victims, whistleblowers, families ruined by the same men. We were a force, stronger together. Months later, I stood in my bakery, rebuilt with help from the community. Sarah was beside me. No longer running, she'd started a foundation to support whistleblowers, and I was her partner, baking bread and fighting for truth. The restlessness I'd felt was gone, replaced by purpose. Those 20 years apart had led us here, to a friendship stronger than ever. I'd lost my old life, but I'd gained a family not of blood, but of courage. But then, in my mailbox, I found an unmarked envelope, just like Sarah's. Inside was a single photo of us in college, laughing, with a third person cropped out. A note read, "There's one more name." My heart skipped. The fight wasn't over. If this story shook you, smash that subscribe button and comment. What would you do with a secret like this? Stay tuned for part 2. You won't believe what's next.